What is going on, guys? Okay, and today we are going to be doing we're going to be starting a sort of scary paranormal sort of series that was going to go on for the next couple of weeks. Maybe all the way up to the build-up of Halloween, I'm not too sure yet. And yeah, basically I'm going to be looking back at some of my really old scary videos and not analysing them so much, but telling you more of a story about them and all these different scenarios which you guys didn't actually realise that happened in that video, because that video mainly just captured what was actually going on, and I'm just going to tell you basically how and what happened. So it's going to be quite interesting. Okay, so in today's video we're going to cast ourselves all the way back to 2018, so which was obviously last year, and I believe it was just before last summer, I think it was. So me and Beth had decided to go out and do a Never Scary video, because we were doing a sort of series at the time, and I was doing some research and I managed to find this woods that was very close to us, that wasn't necessarily haunted, but a lot of people were saying from around the place. Like, I remember when I was younger, we used to say like, oh, we saw this in this woods. I'm not going to give the name. Well, I could probably give the name, but I'm not going to, just because I don't want to encourage people go in there, or anybody like from around here saying like to me like, oh, you know, that place doesn't actually exist or isn't that bad. So I'm not going to say where the place is. I'm going way off topic of this. So basically we decided to go here and check it out, because people were saying like, oh, I was chased and that there was loads of stuff going on in there. And I also used to have a friend that used to live near there, and he said that he used to see people going in there which weren't the nice looking sort of people. So there was loads of stories, so we decided, you know what, will be quite cool, which would also be quite a stupid thing to do because we've never been there before. We decided to go in there and not know what to expect and film. And basically what we captured on the camera, you don't actually see too much. I mean, we went in there, it started getting quite dark. It was a very sort of heavy feel to it, if that makes sense. I think the only way I'd be able to explain it, say if you went onto public transport, right, so there's loads of people there, so you've been standing at a station and then you just go on to one of these public transport things like a train or a bus or whatever, you can feel like a sort of change in atmosphere, obviously, because it's a change of scenery. So we were outside the whole time. We walked about 1.5 miles to get to this place because we did a massive detour, and we got here and we walked in and you could feel like this sort of heavy feeling, and it was quite strange. Like, a temperature dropped, it went cold, and it was a boiling hot day. It must have been about over 20 degrees that day. So yeah, it was very strange. We walked around there, and because it's so open and so dark, you do feel like you're being watched, because it's just something that you know you're gonna expect to feel watched, because you're going to one of these places that people say they see stuff, and you're just gonna try and find something to dwell on, if that makes sense. So we walked around there, we got to a dead end and we didn't know what to do then. It was like, oh well, it's not exactly that bad, is it? So decided to turn around and make a detour and go off the path. Now we went off the path and straight away we saw loads of really weird signs. We saw this drag mark in the leaves, and we weren't too sure what that was. We went and walked down, we saw footprints that were quite fresh because it had rained the night before. We crossed over the river then with much hassle. And then when we got over there, we were seeing signs that were adding up to weird things, you know, like we'd saw the drag marks, we'd seen the fresh footprints, and we hadn't seen a trace of anybody down there. We saw wet wipes as well, which were newly used by the looks of it. I'm not going to go too much detail into that, because you guys don't want to know. But yeah, it was just things like that were adding up really strange. Like, what would have been dragged? Why did we see fresh footmarks? They were proper boots as well. And why were we seeing all this stuff? And we were hearing noises as well about the whole time. And then yeah, it was just a really weird experience. And then watching it over and editing it back, I had somebody comment on the video saying that there was somebody standing behind us on the edge of the path. So this, as you could tell, it gave me goosebumps at the time, and I was like, oh my god, and I paused it and I saw it, and to this day it kind of terrified me, because it was like there was somebody watching us the whole time we were down there. It's like a black silhouette, you'll see it now. And yeah, it was just this horrible feeling. It's like, you know, you've done something, like for example, how would I explain it? It's like you've gone into a room, like let's say somebody's playing a prank on you, right? So you've gone into a room and you're just carrying on your normal self, and then somebody will tell you later then that they were filming you the whole time. I mean, at first you might be like, oh my god, why the hell were you doing that? And secondly, you'd also be very, very creeped out. And this is kind of the sort of feeling we had. I mean, we had been doing our own thing, filming and stuff, and then to find out somebody was on the other end of the path spying on us. So yeah, you could imagine it was a pretty scary feeling. So yeah, that was the whole time that we went to those woods, and this is today's video, which will conclude now. Overall, it was quite a terrifying experience. We haven't been back there since. I have mentioned going back there, but unfortunately we're not going to be going back there because it would be a bit of a stupid thing to do with this happening, and yeah, it's probably best if we don't go there again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching today's video. Please make sure you go ahead and leave a like if you did, and subscribe as well. We upload weekly videos, which is going to be similar stuff to this, and we also explore places around Wales. Comment, let me know, what was your scariest thing that's happened to you? Have you had any other scary like situations or anything that you guys have been in? I mean, this was pretty horrible. Being watched isn't the best of feelings, and yeah, I'm definitely not doing that again. So yeah guys, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. I've been Andrew. I will see you in another upload. Peace out guys.